Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Unscripted and Unchained RPG Review. I am Dan Bloodworth, and as you can see by the graphics, today I'm going to be talking about Founders and Legends 3. Plus, I'm also going to be included a little bit of a channel news update, number 48. So, Founders and Legends 3, the charity virtual game event began, about an hour ago. And I had two events coming up, to actually run, and two or three other events that I was actually going to participate in. Uh, Unfortunately, my event this morning, Whiskey Creek Runs Red, which was a gangbusters RPG tabletop event, didn't go off. I guess there just wasn't interest in the game, and during that time slot, there was not that much, room, in the morning hours, in that time slot, and mine was one of the earlier entries in that time slot, and it just didn't sell tickets. Which happens with these, with these online events is that a lot of events don't fill up, and that's an unfortunate thing because there's a lot of good games out there that are not just not getting picked up on for these events. So if you are available, and during this weekend, there's a lot of really cool events out there online, and I encourage you to jump in on it. So that's a bit of the bad news. The good news is that my game session, The Pheasant, which is a Bushido RPG game, uses that game system, somewhat modified, but still uses that game system. And I do have two of the six possible players, so there's still four slots left. I am going to run it regardless of how many people show up. It could be run with two players. It could be run with even one player. I've tested this adventure out as a solo adventure, for the most part, and so it's a really good adventure, if I do say so myself. It's really good for introducing new players to this game system who might not have played Bushido RPG back in the day when it came out in 83-ish or so. But I have modified it a bit to make it a little bit less crunchy, and streamlined it to the point that it has a much better flow to both the gameplay, the combat in particular, but it's definitely a game to look out for. And then my Sunday, I'm basically a player, and an observer on Sunday, so I'm looking forward to that as well. But moving on with the channel news, I wanted to give you a heads up, or just a sneak peek on several of the videos that I have upcoming. There's a number of computer RPGs that I'm going to either continue, such as Pillars of Eternity, although I'm probably only going to play that through on the channel up through 10 or 11 videos. Then I'm going to rush through and actually play Pillars of Eternity, just play that through. That way I unlock Pillars of Eternity 2, being able to export my character information from the one game to the next. And then I'll run a series of Pillars of Eternity 2 videos on the channel. So I hope you're enjoying them. I know they've been fairly popular. They're getting enough views for me to continue, but I do want to change gears a little bit and start introducing the new game as well. And I only just recently understood that I had to finish up Pillars of Eternity 1 before moving on to 2. I mean, you don't have to, but I certainly want to. So that's on the old gaming front, so that's kind of old news gaming front. On the new news gaming front, I had one commenter on an old video that I did with on Sea Dogs that wanted to see some other, pirate themed games. And so I have a huge library on Steam and probably about a half a dozen pirate themed games that I haven't even shown on the channel yet. And so that's something that I will, probably get to later on this weekend, in between playing and running games during this convention weekend. And then there are the various tabletops that I have, that are either coming in or I've had for a little bit and I've been sitting on. And that's where I'm going to switch off to that next. So, one game that I've been, had waited for like almost a year, just waiting to get my hands on it, and I just kept on putting it off, was Frontier Space. And I'm a big Star Frontiers fan, TSR Star Frontiers fan, and really love that game. And this has been described as the next gen of that game series. Not so much a series; it was basically three installments of it, but not multiple editions. So I am going to get into doing a full review on the referee's handbook and the player's handbook and get that out of the way. The second, and these may not happen in this order. It just really depends on my mood at the time. I have to do a review on Rifts. I haven't gotten to this now. This game here is super, super complex, and I want to make sure that before I review it, that I have a basic understanding of what Rifts is all about, and that's going to take some time. This isn't the kind of game that you can just open it up and start flipping through the pages and immediately start to understand the game world and the game system and how they work together. This one is just on first glance like really confusing for me, so I'm going to have to try to figure that out. The next is Gurps Conan. So just in this past week and a half or so, I've decided I missed on an opportunity to pick up the rule book and one of the modules or adventure booklets from Frank Metzner, who had put it up on auction, and I just missed the time and I didn't vote on it, and it went for really cheap, the two of them combined, and I was like, damn, I'm not going to miss that opportunity again. This was a game that I played back in 1989. This might have been the last of the RPGs that I really got into before I completely broke away from tabletop RPGs and shifted more towards computers. Plus, I spent time in the military, so I wasn't home as often to actually keep on gaming, and so I wanted to get back to this. I had all of the books at the time, and now in the last week and a half, I spent about $120, and I have replaced the entire collection. So I'm going to wait till I have all 5 books in hand. Plus, I had to just purchase the basic third edition basic, for this basic GURPS. And now that I have all of the components that I had back in the late 80s, and now I have now again, I'll wait till everything comes through. So this might be the first week of August run through of this game and the game system of basic GURPS third edition, which is the edition that I had played back then. So that's, certainly on my early August list of games that I'm looking to showcase on the channel. And then finally, I just came across this on Facebook, and I'm going to shift views here. And let me just shift this up over here. I have to switch to desktop view. So here we go. So the Book of Dark Secrets. So this was recently advertised as a full compilation. So all 20 volumes, I believe, are in one booklet now that's available on Drive Through RPG. And these are put out by Matthew Bogdan. I hope I said his name right. So that's how I became aware of it on Facebook. And so I went there. This particular one is pay what you want. He suggested it was free, which I did pick it up for free. And I wanted to take a look at this and without doing spoilers. So I'm warning him now. I will not be doing spoilers of this. I just want to briefly go over this first adventure, and you can expect that the quality of the other 19 that you could buy separately, or you can buy them as one complete volume, which I believe is in hardback, softback, and PDF. But I wanted to go through this and just show the formatting of it and how it flows and tells the story of this adventure and some of the mechanics involved with it as well, but not get into the full story of it, not to include any spoilers. So that's another thing on my plate, and this will probably be a couple of days. It's only 62 pages long. So this is a 62 page single adventure, which is actually a pretty long adventure. It's most adventures, full length adventures are between like 30 and 40 pages long. So this one is kind of like right in the middle. Compared to what I normally see for adventures in PDF form, it's long in comparison to most of those. So anyway, I think the typical old school D&D adventure was probably about 35 pages long. So once again, definitely going to take a look at this, and I'll do a very quick review of it, and then and then you could always go through drive through and pick it up if you wish. So that's pretty much the kind of like the week in review and the week going forward. I've been really prepping for this Founders and Legends 3. Like I said, unfortunately, nobody picked up on Gangbusters BX for that first session, but the second session, like I said, is going to be a go for tomorrow. There are still tickets available for that, so if you are available at 11 a.m. Central, it's going to run between 3 and 4 hours long, typically around 3.5 hours long. It depends on how many people are there and how they role play through it. The last time I ran this game at the last time I ran this was with just a single player, and it took roughly 3 hours. But that was because he was learning the system as well, and I was really refreshing my memory on the system. So I expect it to run around 3.5 hours long. So if you're available, please look it up, and and I'll leave a link in the comments section that you can just directly link onto it and go right to it if you wish. So once again, enjoy this weekend. If you're participating in Founders and Legends 3 and you want to drop me a line on the comment section and say, hey, I'm part of this game, and there's some tickets available. Or if you're running something, I would really like to know if you're running something and you'd like for me to take a look at. It appears I only have like a half a day that I could devote to tomorrow. So really after my game tomorrow, I may have to, end my Saturday, unfortunately, at the convention. But I'm certainly going to pick up on Sunday and look to fill up that day as much as I possibly can. And I'm playing a game tonight, The Horde, which I believe starts around 7 p.m. and I'll run through 11 o'clock p.m. So I'm looking forward to that game. That's an AD&D 1E game, so I'm looking forward to playing the old system once again. So once again, thanks a lot. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Be on the lookout for the next couple of videos that'll be popping online, probably today, and then into tomorrow or Sunday morning. I'll put up a few more. So make sure you hit that alerts bell so that you'll get all of those notifications when the new videos drop. And once again, if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. And I look forward to seeing you on the gaming screen sometime soon. Some of you this weekend. I'm going to see you this weekend, so that's going to be awesome. So you'll have a great afternoon. Take care.